Elf, EMAC, a 9-game slate. I'm not going to lie, it's not the most exciting slate I've ever seen. But, I mean, we're clearly playing it one way or the other. EMAC, what's going on?
Oh, it's a little more dulcet of a slate than it was last night. The Nationals decided to make things interesting with their craptastic bullpen.
Yeah.
That swung some lineups in the DraftKings baseball championship. The person who won it, I didn't recognize the name, but he only had one lineup. The Boss Man had 5 in there. I think El Jefe had 3. There were some several other luminaries in that, as would be expected. A couple of them posted that even with their finishes, they lost 5 figures on the effort. It's so top heavy. I can't do it.
I agree. I took enough stabs to like really ruin a decent baseball season at the beginning, which was great. I took a complete and utter beating in MMA last night. I think I got every fight wrong, so that went well. Always good. Always good.
Yeah, the NASCAR for me, I was doing so well up until the last 15 laps. Now you never know with NASCAR, but I was like 5 or 6x, and then I looked after the race and I had lost $70. Like, how? At one point I was up 1,200. Now that would never last, but I was alone with my lineup in the Minimax, and I was in second. And I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I got one of these before Josh did?
So technically, I got one now.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I got one in MMA.
There we are.
And with a small enough amount of ties that I'm willing to take it. So. But that wasn't this Sunday. This Sunday, I would have, if this was a low ball league, I probably would have had a decent shot. It was rough, man. It was rough. Let's dig into baseball here, but first let's hit the plugs. Live Before Lock is our promo code, one big word. If you want to sign up and get 50% off your first month with us, any monthly package you choose, any Awesemo Plus package that you're trying to choose, including packages that have Fantasy Cruncher, all you have to do is use the promo code Live Before Lock. One big word when signing up. Again, 50% off. And for each Live Before Lock show, we are brought to you by FantasyDraft. FantasyDraft is the presenting sponsor. And if you want to play $1,000 worth of rake-free contests in your first 7 days at FantasyDraft, go to FantasyDraft.com, enter the promo code Awesemo. Every single entry you make, all of that money is coming right back to the players. Completely rake-free daily fantasy now, and the first $1,000 that you try to get into in your first 7 days, completely rake-free. Cannot beat it. Check it out, FantasyDraft.com, promo code Awesemo.
They have $1 million week 1 tournament for NFL.
Exciting. I'll be playing a lot of NFL in places I didn't expect to be playing NFL, and I will be ignoring it in other places.
Yeah, it's for week 1. You want to look for and we'll get to baseball, not to fair. 9 games, we have all the lineups, no surprises really. But if you want to get in on the good stuff, shall we say, look for where there's going to be contests that aren't completely full.
Yep.
And I feel that the fantasy draft is very well could be one of them. It's $20, 150 max. So you'll probably see some of the big guys jump in, but we'll see. They generally don't fill all their stuff. Now, this is a first for them, making one this big. They've done it well in advance, and now that they have the CSV upload, etc., we'll see. But again, it's rake free if you've done the little subscription for it, and I believe you can play $100 a month even if you don't.
I believe that is correct.
Don't do it. So even worst case scenario, week 1 you could put 5 entries in this and see what happens.
Let's talk baseball for today.
Would you put 150 in this one?
No.
That's $3,000. A lot of money.
No, not for football.
Wait, am I doing the math right? I'm not doing
the math. What's the entry fee?
Hold on. 150 times 20. Oh yeah, 3,000. Yeah. There we go. It's early. I'm not firing on all cylinders at the moment.
We'll get there. We got plenty of time. We need to talk about the chalkiest pitcher on the DraftKings slate. You know, we've got Matt Boyd going today, Zach Wheeler, Jack Flaherty, Mike Clevenger, an illustrious group of starting pitchers. But Thomas Pannone is projected to be owned 55% of the time on DK, and I think we need to have a little chat. How you feeling about old Tommy boy at 4,600?
Not good.
No,
no,
not that appealing to you.
I would no. So finding that second pitcher today is going to be a little tricky.
It is indeed. I wrote in Spotlight Pitchers today that I didn't think it was possible. I wrote up Flaherty, I wrote up Boyd, and then I started looking at the bottom, and I was like, I don't know, Sparkman? What are we doing here? By the way, does Glenn Sparkman only pitch on Sundays? I feel like you and I talk about Glenn Sparkman every single week.
420, baby. There he is.
We could just play the audio from previous weeks.
So looking at Thomas Pannone, all right. So this is an important one. So let's lift up the hood and see what we do truly have here between the Mariners, not so stellar lineup, and Pannone. So he's faced 450 batters, gets killed by righties. 340 WOBA, 200 ISO. Lefties, he's fine. 305 ISO, WOBA, 160 ISO. The Mariners have a ton of lefties. The righties they're putting out there, the only ones that really scare me, and I use that term loosely, the ones that are effective. So Domingo Santana is having one heck of a season. That was a nice find for the Mariners.
By the way, he's not at 55 anymore. He's at 31.
Okay.
But either way, he's still second. I didn't mean to cut you off, but dramatic change in our most recent update.
Yeah, and it's still a lot. So we want to know what we're buying, I think is the way to look at it. So Tom Murphy, Santana, and then it's very short runway, but oh God, what's his name? Not Aaron Nola. Austin Nola is the other guy. Now Austin Nola, he's had a while. So on ESPN, he's eligible at catcher, first base, and second base now. It's crazy, and he's had moments here as catcher eligibility.
That's DFS. Typical.
Yeah, but he's in the lineup pretty much every day. It took a winding road for him to get to the majors, but he's been effective. I got to give him that. He's 3 or 4 years older than his brother Aaron, but this was his debut season. But he's kind of pesky as hell. Decent hitter, not a ton of power, not a ton of speed, but just he's getting it done at the moment, which is what the Mariners need.
Yeah,
that's it. Those are the 3 guys I'm worried about. But with Pannone, he could very easily implode.
Yes, he could.
And that's the secondary question is what sort of risk do we want to absorb? Because last night I said before there were about 5 pitchers. I said punch yourself in the face, punch yourself in the nads, and then pick one of them because that's what it's going to feel like.
Yeah.
I don't feel quite as strongly today about saying with that statement, but it's not going to be fun, but we all have to make the same choices. So Wilmer Font was in my placeholder lineup as the probable opener. That's how odd this slate was when I was building my lineup last night.
Yeah. So I ran a crunch. Again, we have Pannone at 31% on DK right now. Do you have any guesses as to how much Pannone I have?
Oh, you're at 2/3. You're double that.
I have 0.
What? That's not possible. Okay, how much Boyd do you have?
28.
All right. Who are you going to then? Flaherty?
I have 26% Wheeler, 28% Boyd, 37% Flaherty, 23% Trevor Richards. I guess 12% Eric Fede is a stand, but I mean, that's still not that high. 39% Max Fried.
The Max Fried, that's a...
If I'm going to have 30% of a pitcher, I'd rather have 30% of Max Fried than Thomas Pannone. I'll just feel better about it. I don't care if I lose more.
Okay. And these are fair because because you do play the leverage game better than most, and that's something I think is that next step that a lot of our viewers aren't aren't really doing. I do it to a lesser extent than what you and Jake and Adam are doing, and of course the boss man. But okay, I if you were coming at me with that lineup, I wouldn't be doing cartwheels saying I got this one in the bag. So
yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I'm really surprised that I'm not getting to Pannone, especially like it's not as if he's projecting poorly or anything. I mean, he's projecting like him. Yeah, nothing. Just not there. I'm not mad about it. As far as fades go, fading Pannone is not my biggest problem in the world. At least I hope it's not. So that's where I stand.
Yeah, if we start talking price per pitch, how many pitches do you think Pannone will go? 75, 80?
Yeah, that works.
Right.
Something in that neighborhood.
Like 4 innings and change is where I'm kind of going with that.
That seems reasonable to me. Yeah. I'm making a little tweak now. I don't think it's right that I have 0, so I am trying to, bump him up a little bit, but I don't want anywhere near the field.
Let's talk about UC Kikuchi.
Let's do it.
He has allowed 31 home runs this season. That is the second most in the league. Teammate Mike Leake has moved ahead of him now for first place at 34, or I should say that Kikuchi's catching him. Boyd's given up 30, Verlander 31, but those guys are strikeout pitchers, so we should not be surprised at that.
Right.
But Kikuchi is just awful. Now, no Vlad Guerrero Jr. He strained something. I think it was his knee. They decided it was either his knee or his hip. He ranged a little far on a play, and we thought they were. The initial reports were like they were taking him out because he tried too hard. I didn't understand what they were saying, but because like, oh, he ranged too far or whatever. They're taking him out.
Yeah, I remember reading that.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? This is like he over hustled the first base.
Yeah, you don't get that side of it all that often.
So it was poorly written. He was injured. Is what they should have said.
It's a lot easier to just be like he's hurt.
Yeah.
Instead of he ran too far. I mean, I get it. I'd be afraid if Vlad Guerrero Jr. was running too far as well. It probably wouldn't hurt him to run too far on a day-to-day basis. Drop a couple of those LBs, but I think we could all do that. We just got a question. What's Anthony asking? Is there teams you are not getting to today? Yeah, probably. We'll get there. Still in the pitcher section of this joint. If you're trying to split between Matt Boyd and Jack Flaherty, who do you prefer? Or is the answer Zach Wheeler for you?
I don't know. I better start doing some crunches here. I think those are the 3 guys.
Yeah, lock's at 1, just in case you haven't taken a look yet.
Oh, 0-0?
Oh, 5, but
okay.
Okay. Rounding back.
Okay, perfect. Well, it shouldn't be 2. I was just waiting for the usual stuff. Sorry, what was the question again? Let me get up to
Boyd or Flaherty. Or if it's Wheeler, tell me more about Zach Wheeler.
Boyd and Wheeler. Flaherty's going to be number 3 for me. Let me get my little info up here on him. So Flaherty is, I don't think he's a bad pitcher. It sort of, I'm just focusing on DK. So site specific, his price is kind of both above and below Boyd, depending on which site you're looking at. Let me get over here to Mr. Wheeler first. So Wheeler, the interesting thing about him is the lineup he's facing is not overly daunting. Wheeler is one of those guys that he's if you want to go after him, you go after him with lefties. There's really nobody in the lineup that's going to do that. It's not Ryan O'Hearn, who's having a lost season. It's certainly not Nicky Lopez, who has that's not a mark on my computer. He has an 0.67 isolated power over his last 218 at bats. That's not very good.
No.
And then Phillips. I want to say, is that Brett Phillips. Yeah, not going to scare Wilson Phillips. Hey, hold on for one more day. I don't know why I know that, but I do. And Phillips not good at all. So we're hoping Hearn reaches back to prior seasons,
Yeah.
or you got Dozier and Soler, who are solid against righties. But the problem is over his last 700 righties faced, Wheeler has a .097 ISO. There's no upside going against him. Now it's baseball. Weird stuff happens. And I think it's warm today in Kansas City. It's warm everywhere.
You would think it is.
Kansas City, 85 degrees, 85 to 90 during the game with a 70% humidity and an 8 to 11 mile an hour breeze going out there to center field. So not the best pitching environment, but still with all of that, the Royals only have a 4.2 implied run total. So that's getting me to Wheeler. I feel a little more comfortable. Would I love this to be in Citi Field? Sure. Do I equate Brett Phillips, Nicholas Denny, or Chesler Cuthbert as kind of like a pitcher? Yeah, that's about how they're going to hit today. So there we are.
Yeah, it's hard not to want to have your eye on Wheeler other than the price. I'll have similar amounts of both Wheeler and Boyd and Flaherty for that matter. They're the trio of those guys hard to get away from. And yet we have Mike Clevenger just sitting here, third most expensive pitcher on FanDuel, most expensive guy on DK, most expensive guy on Yahoo. Do you see yourself getting to Clevenger?
So here's the thing. Yeah, the Yankees strike out. No, not the understudies. The understudies don't. Right now, their lineup has a 21 and change strikeout rate against righties. Well, Clevenger's really, really good against righties. He struggles a little bit against lefties. And if we look at his numbers this season against lefties, 150 at-bats, 140 isolated power, and then if we look at last year, it's not much worse. 174 isolated power. So he's just plain good.
Yeah.
These are the Yankees. I mean, thank God they gave Gleyber Torres. Nope, they didn't give him the day off. They're resting him by batting him 7th. Do you know he has 7 multi-home run games this season?
I'm not surprised.
7.
I feel like I constantly see that.
Unbelievable. But looking at this matchup, the guys that are good against righties would be Judge, Didi Gregorius, and Gary Sanchez. That is nice, but Clevenger's just so much better against righties that I think that neutralizes it. I can see getting to him in a tournament because it wouldn't be surprising if Clevenger got 8 to 10 strikeouts. And that might be enough today because, if Boyd or Wheeler or somebody just does poorly and he's the better guy, raw points, you're getting a leg up. I don't think I'll have more than 10 or 15%, though.
Okay. Is anybody standing out to you that isn't getting a lot of love today?
Let me go back to our... I disagree with anybody playing UC Kikuchi. Trevor Richards, you did mention him. 13%. Now, let's go look here.
I don't know what to make of how long he could pitch in this.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. So basically what Miami's been doing, and Adam's talked about this, and I've talked about it as well. They're not pushing their pitchers. No. They want them. They're and they've even said, hey, we're going to move guys like Elisir Hernandez and Richards and etc. They're going to move them between the bullpen and between the rotation. They're all going to get 75, 80 pitches would be my guess. You're even seeing it with Caleb Smith. And I'm blanking on the other guy, but they're getting 85, 90 tops. There's just no reason to burn out these arms at this point. So it makes it a little tough. So we know that Richards, he's going to be stretched out. Yeah, he hasn't had a start in a month, but he's had 3 appearances in the bullpen. He hasn't actually pitched. Wait, why hasn't he pitched since August? What am I missing?
He was just in the minors for a week and a half, 2 weeks.
There we go. Let me see here. So Richards, recall from AAA Durham. Wait, Durham is...
He's on the Rays.
Thank you. God, I'm so sorry. I got that totally... that's what caught me. It's like, Durham's the Rays minor league team. I didn't know they traded him.
Oh, YouTube chat is on you now.
Oh, they should be. As well, they should be. I deserve that. Keep it coming. Pile it on. I'm owning this one.
Get him, everybody. Get him.
Go for it. So so he has pitched a few days ago in the minors. So I would still say 75 pitches. So lift and shift everything. Tampa Bay not going to burn out their arms of their pitchers because, wait for it, they like to have openers, the bulk relievers. They invented this thing. So they're a similar thing. They're not going to burn them out. But I think 75 pitches would be about where I'd go. The matchup against Detroit is a good one. It is in Tropicana Field. It's 7,000. I'd love it to be 5,500, but 7,000. I'll set them at 15% and see what happens. I got to go read chat because I need to take all these that I deserve.
It's mostly just everybody telling you the exact same thing, which is fine, I guess.
EMAC taking the L. Wake up, EMAC. EMAC lost. Still love EMAC. There we go. EMAC's the Ochi. There we go. All right, thank you. I'm feeling a little bit better now. Feeling a little bit better. I did deserve that. Sorry, folks. Been traveling all week, so I have not been. I used to love getting newspapers. We don't do that anymore. But I used to.
What now?
It's this thing. It's smashed up wood pulp, spread very thinly, and then heated into this sheet called paper.
What did you get out of that? I don't understand.
Ancient Egyptians called it papyrus because they did other things.
I know that font. It's a pretty good font.
I believe it was actually the Chinese that invented paper first.
I don't know.
Here we are.
Paper.
I used to love just reading every box score because you didn't have the internet. So I would just like literally pour over every box score. And this is before fantasy sports. I just thought it was fascinating. That and the stock market were interesting. Now I don't really do that as much because you can just click and see, oh, here were the 10 best each day and et cetera. So you don't get to go through all those nuances. So I miss that, which is helpful this time of the year in baseball because wait for it, we can reach out and touch the September call-ups that are going to be happening soon. And this is going to throw everything out of whack and pricing is just not going to matter.
Yeah. Baseball's about to suck soon, man.
Yeah.
Couple weeks, 2 weeks. It's not the best. It's not the best at all. I have all of my crunches in, and it looks like Max Fried is going to be that guy for me today. So, not really comfortable with that. At least he doesn't normally get bombed, right? That's helpful. I got nothing. I don't know what else to do because the rest of this slate stinks. I don't want Eovaldi or Tony Gonsolin. I don't want Jason Vargas. I don't want Chase Anderson. Trevor Richards isn't going to pitch long enough, although I still have him. I don't want CC Sabathia. Reed looks to be winning by default for me.
Did EMAC have to call in his fantasy players weekly?
What do you mean call? There were no phones.
We didn't have phones. Actually, I was in a league where we had to fax them in. And then
you send your stats on a Raven?
My friends and I would take turns. This is how I got good at 10 keying. We would sit there and read the lines to each other from the Tuesday and Wednesday USA Todays for our NL and our National League baseball. Set up some nice spreadsheets. Figured out how to do the transactions so you would add and subtract guys while you had them on the roster. It was quite the enterprise. I was thrilled when they had this thing called the internet. We thought we were so cool. We signed up for this service that would download a raw stats file, and then we built a macro that would go in and find our players and put it into our spreadsheet. Still didn't really have the internet. The Prodigy, did you ever hear of Prodigy?
Man, I have so many jokes right now, but either way, yes. In terms of an internet provider, yes, I remember Prodigy.
It was more of like an open data feed at best.
I didn't know if I was going to go with Smack My Bitch Up or BJ Penn. I had plenty of different directions to go there.
There is a band named Prodigy.
Yeah. I remember doing like highly untechnical things when you didn't have a choice. A buddy of mine runs like a fairly sizable NCAA bracket pool for March Madness. And we would track everything online in just like a standings page, but I mean, we would get like a couple hundred printed out brackets that get dropped off at the house that we needed to manually enter to track it. So there was just one year Arizona played in, I believe they were probably like the 215, and then Gonzaga was like a 7-10 matchup. So you would just be reading this off and it would just be like Zona, Zaga, Zaga, Zona, Zaga, Zona. Because it was everybody had the same combination of both of those teams winning, and then you just had to pick the third one. I can do that. That cadence is still stuck in my head, and this was like 15 years ago. You just get this weird stuff when you didn't have. Nowadays, it was just like if somebody dropped off a paper bracket and I had 600 of them in the pool or something, I'd be like, yo, you gotta type that shit in yourself. I have 25% Max Fried on FanDuel right now, where he is 4% owned.
Now, I remember someone that used to be in chat a lot would turn around and tell you right now that the last time that Fried and the Dodgers squared off, Fried had negative fantasy points. So that indicates that the Dodgers see him well.
Oh, I figured that meant he was due. It all depends. I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Okay. So he's due to be better?
Yep. Okay. Yep, that's what I meant.
Because now he slept in his own bed last night. That would be what it is.
So that is helpful, because I know when these guys are on the road, they're staying in a Days Inn on some lumpy ass mattress. I'm sure they're not staying in any nice hotel on a comfortable bed. I don't know about you, but when I travel, sleeping in the hotel bed is part of the appeal. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my bed. I spent a stupid amount of money on it, and I do prefer to sleep in my own bed, but let's not act like these guys are sleeping in boxes outside of the stadium. People say that a lot. Oh, he got to sleep in his own bed last night. Maybe that'll help. Hotel beds are comfortable as shit. People are crazy. I am very surprised that I'm not getting more Mike Clevenger. I mean, I understand why it's not happening, but this is the guy that like when he first got back, I was like 3-4 times the field on him, and now I can't seem to find him in any lineup I ever put out. I don't know what to do. We're gonna have to talk about dong picks soon, and it's just not great right now.
All right, I've loaded the projections, so that means I'm getting close to doing crunches here.
I've got everything done.
Apparently, I like to take my time because it always feels like something goes amiss here. Oh, but I do want to drop the link in chat for the Spotlight Hitters and Stacks article, which also has the link to the Spotlight Pitchers article. So for those of you who are Railbirds and not yet a member of Osimo, you can check out some of our stuff here.
David asking me what my sleep number is. So I rotate a little bit between 30, 50, and 65. I try not to get stuck on any one number.
What is this for?
A sleep number bed.
Is that one of the ones that does it move in different positions?
It does.
Okay.
And you could like adjust the firmness and softness of the mattress.
What is the company that make those?
Sleep Number.
Oh, it's just Sleep Number. All I can think of in my mind is Sealy Posturepedic or
No.
Serta mattresses.
Oh, Sealy. My dad worked for Sealy for like 25 years.
Really?
Yeah.
My wife's dad did the same, but for Mead Paper.
Okay. Yeah. From Jesus. Oh, God, it was probably like. Yeah, it's 25 sounds about right. From the time, like before I have memories until I was in college. Yeah. No more. Let's make dong picks. Here's the current stats, and been a rough stretch for me over the past 3 or 4 days. Everybody else is picking them up except for me. You are at 28 total dongs, 25 correct picks. Jake is at 26 total dongs, 23 correct picks. Hot on your heels. He's been on a hell of a run lately. 2 double dongs in the last week and a half.
Yeah.
And he missed out on Urshela just because he didn't want to take him back to back, but would have had back to back double dongs.
I'm still sad for last Saturday because it was the first one I missed, and I would have gone with Jordan when he had that triple dong. I couldn't believe when I looked at later on the sheet that neither of you guys took him. You took Brantley, and I forget who Jake took. I'm like, did they make an agreement to not take him? Damn, I would have taken him.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that one either. It's just little swings here or there can make this look a lot different. I'm now back down to third in pick rate. The only saving grace to all of this is that we're all just firmly ahead of Spags.
Yeah, Spags is. He named the human centipede. It's his to keep now.
So the floor is yours, sir. You are at the top of the heap. Who's your dong for today?
I think it has to be someone from Toronto. Let me look and see who I want to go with here. I am going. Is it Teoscar Hernandez or is it Randall Grichuk? Or is it Bo Bichette?
You tell me.
You know what? I'm going with Bichette.
All righty. Bo Bichette is in, not Dante. I've got Hunter Renfroe.
Oh, that always hurts me when someone does that. What did I pick him? Like 3 out of 4 days, and he did not dong.
You
like
did
about
pick
10
him
days
3 out
ago.
of 4 days.
And then the one day I didn't pick him, he hit a home run.
Yeah. Hunter Renfroe in for me. Bo Bichette in for EMAC. I think Jake might be in the document, unless you're in it right now, but Jake may be making a pick.
I'm not in it.
We shall see. Now somebody's just moving around into a different cell. I don't know who the anonymous mink is, but let me know who it is. So dong picks are in. We've touched on pitching a little bit. Hit the like button while you're here. Subscribe to the channel. All of that good stuff. Super, super helpful for us. We'll be back to normal starting tomorrow, running out another week of content. We had soccer content this morning. Not that it's mattering to me right now. Jake is in with Rafael Devers. So there we go.
Yeah, too many tabs open.
What do you think of the chalk stack today? The San Diego Padres going up against noted incredible pitcher Jason Vargas.
All right, so here's the thing with Vargas, and so people love to go against him. Love to go against him. He has made this season you're like, oh yeah, I'm going against Jason Vargas. What is he, like 35, 37? Was like a dozen years, 15 years in the league, whatever it is. He's got a 4 ERA, a 1.26 whip this season. I am going to go look at him on his career numbers, and I bet that's right around where his career numbers are. He is just one of those guys that survives.
Yeah.
And it is, so there you go. He's 36, 14 years in the league. He has pitched for Florida, the Mets, Seattle, Anaheim. I remember that Anaheim year a lot, even though he only had 1 year there. KC, the Mets again, and Philadelphia. So for the most part, he likes to go into pitchers' parks because outside of Philadelphia, he has pretty much his entire career been in what we would call pitchers' parks, or at least not hitting friendly. So his career numbers, 4.26, a 1.31. Yep. About where he is now. He has had one bad season for the Mets 2 years ago, 20 starts, 5.8 ERA, 1.4 whip. Other than that, he has only has one other season more than 4.2 for his ERA, and that was back in 2009.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He survives. His whip hovers around between 1.2 and 1.5, or pardon me, 1.3. Which puts him in that 1.25 average. He's perfectly consistent from a season-long perspective, and he doesn't allow a ton of home runs.
I hope that changes today.
Yeah, 211 in his 1,600 career innings.
I would not mind if he allowed a few home runs today.
Yep, just 16 on the season. So he'd be on pace. He'd be on pace for in the 30s. If he went 200 innings. That's kind of the rate I like to look at. So I don't, it's not a slam dunk, but if there's any team that you would think could get him, it would be San Diego, just because they're the sheer number of righties that they have. And I mean, obviously no Franmil Reyes, but
no Tatis either.
Oh, that's right. Fernando Tatis is out. See, I know that one. He's out for the rest of the season, back injury. Let's see. Against righties over his last 675, he has a 335 WOBA and about a 200 ISO. So that's about where you start to like the hitters. Those are the comfortable hitting numbers. But you're right. Renfroe, Machado, Margot would be the main guys. But outside of that, I mean, really, do you want Austin Hedges. Do you want Urias? Do you want, what is it, Tyler France?
I want everybody because
Really?
I think that Jason Vargas is straight dookie. So
The
I have a lot of this
play
game.
of the day.
I have
It's a trap.
I have a lot of this game. Now, I have a ton of Manny Machado, a ton of Margot, a ton of Renfroe. It's smaller bits of some of the other guys. The only guy that I'm under the field on is Ty France, which feels like the right play to me. They're cheap. It's a hitter's park. It plays up righty power as well as any other park in baseball. I can't imagine not wanting this team. I hope they just go absolutely crazy. Now, they're not my number one stack. They are coming in second for me. Well, they're second in the aggregate by 0.1%. I have an overwhelming amount on DraftKings and a slightly smaller amount on FanDuel. The team that I got the most of right now, it's the team that I've been stacking up basically all week. The Cleveland Indians.
Really?
Yes. I think they're just simply going underrepresented every day. Now that they have Puig and Franmil Reyes in the lineup, they have like a sneaky large amount of power. Another hitter's park. Sabathia is. I mean, what do we say about him at this point?
Crafty lefty.
I guess
he's passionate. He was trying to. What was he trying to?
He's given up a 193 x ISO to righties this season. Over the past two, it's 161. So you would expect that to get worse and worse. And now he's got to get through Francisco Lindor, Carlos Santana, Puig, Franmil Reyes, Roberto Perez. In terms of a catcher, has pop. I have a lot of this team, and I'm not mad about it. It's a good park against a pitcher that is tolerable at best. I have very little. I have 3% Sabathia. I have more Indians than any other team on the slate.
But you didn't pick. Wait, who was your home run? Oh, it was Renfroe. You didn't go with them with somebody against Sabathia.
Oh, I mean, like I said, I have 17.5% Indians and 17.4% Padres. So it's not as if I'm like picking from the team that I don't have here. It was one or the other. I just have infinite amounts of the Indians today.
Gotcha.
Which I'm happy about. Any Indians for you against Sabathia?
I like them. I've just finished my tiers lineup, so I will now be doing my other crunches, but they will be a team that I make a concentrated effort to get.
Any bats that stand out for you there?
The ones that you mentioned, I think, just to reiterate that I think those would be the key guys to go to. Franmil Reyes is probably my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, I'm even trying to like bring the Indians down on FanDuel. I'm having a hard time. That's just how good I think they're going to be today. Now, it's baseball. They probably fail 75% of the time, so I'm prepared for that. I can't get away from them, but I have stupid amounts of Indians on FanDuel. But
Lindor is so good.
Yes, and that's the thing. I had this discussion with Adam a little bit the night that they went crazy. 3 nights ago. I had a ton of Indians again. And before the slate even started, before it started going crazy, I looked at it and I was like, I love the way that my hitting exposure is coming out. If Francisco, and this is basically the same numbers that I was using. If Francisco Lindor is at 7% ownership on FanDuel, and I'm taking a stand with one shortstop, I would be happy for it to be like if it's Francisco Lindor that I have at 5x the field, I think that's correct. Or maybe not necessarily correct, it's not wrong. Like that's a guy you want to have a lot of if he's not owned. And today is that day. 7% ownership on Francisco Lindor. If he just does normal Lindor things, I'm sitting pretty because he's going to be in a third of my lineups. I love it. So give me all of the Indians. I'd prefer if Mike Freeman and Greg Allen didn't do anything. But other than that, I'm good. Let's see who else is picking up ownership. So 3 teams are sort of jockey on DraftKings. Padres, Red Sox, Brewers. Is there a team you like the least out of those 3?
Brewers, because they're broke my heart last night.
Okay. I'm gonna pull that up here now.
The Red Sox did they get to 8? Yeah, no, 7.8 implied run total. Last night when I wrote them up, it was 7.9. Do you know who has allowed the most runs in the league this season as a team?
The Colorado Rockies.
No.
I don't know. I mean, obviously the answer is probably the Orioles.
The Orioles. Now, they have allowed 787 runs. They have a negative 255 differential.
Not bad.
So I'll put it this way. The Rockies have allowed the second most runs and the Mariners the third most. They're within 5 runs of each other. How close are they to the Orioles?
44 runs.
You'd be wrong. 70. The Orioles have allowed 70 more runs than the second and third closest teams, and 100 and doing the math again, 120 away from the Tigers.
That is not great.
It's not even close.
That is so bad. So bad.
Like, the team that scored the most runs this season is the Yankees, and of course, because they get to play the Orioles. The Orioles have allowed 40 more runs than the Yankees have scored. They've allowed 60 more runs than the Red Sox have scored. They make everybody facing them into the best offense ever.
That is, that is fascinating and scary at the same time. Oh God, that is so. They're just so bad.
And I just want to bring that up because this is. I mean, every day when you look at them, they're playing somebody in the AL East. So it's the Boston and it's the Yankees that, and down the stretch, are just going to have these wild run totals the rest of the way because they're playing the Orioles.
I'm basically neutral to the field on the Red Sox. It's the Brewers that I've taken the biggest haircut on. So that's the Brewers have the biggest gap between my exposure and the public exposure. I'm neutral with the Padres or higher. I'm neutral with the Red Sox, but the Brewers are the one that slipped through the cracks. So I agree with your answer of Brewers. Who's your favorite stack today? Is it the Red Sox? Is it the Padres?
It's the Red Sox.
Okay. Hard to disagree all that much.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody calculates this slightly differently, but just for consistency's sake, using what I have here, the Red Sox are favored by 2.9 runs. You could almost bet the run line twice and get a coin flip. Oh my gosh. And yet, I have no Eovaldi. Clearly, I have no Ty Blach.
Eovaldi's going to go 60 pitches today.
Right.
I read that somewhere, for those that are watching.
Yeah, 8,300 on DraftKings, impossible. You could probably talk me into it. If Yahoo was a 150 site, you'd be able to talk me into it in a 10 max. No need. Red Sox lineup is kind of janky, at least at the bottom. I've got enough bets and enough JD, but in a perfect world, these guys are just sort of okay and not the top stack of the day. I have them more in terms of one-offs than I do really anything else, so I'm okay with that.
All right, I'm setting my pitcher exposures now versus the field. Where'd you end up on Flaherty?
I have 37% on DraftKings and 16 on FanDuel, so just a hair below the field. I'm there. Really, the only guy that I'm super off from the field is Max Fried, and I guess I'm okay with it.
All right. Reminder: we have free preseason content for NFL. I'm gonna drop that link in the chat.
Yeah.
That one was by me last night. Spent a couple hours going through stuff and writing that. A lot of information to cover. I'll be updating that. I'm sure some more news will come out today. I believe the games are at 4 and 7 o'clock today. So we've got.
Is it the Super Bowl yet?
God, I wish it was. We've got the Saints at the Chargers, who I'm going to continually call San Diego for the rest of the time.
Yep. And
then we have the Seahawks at the Vikings.
Thrilling stuff.
Yeah, week 2, not a lot of excitement. Very hard to see what's going to happen, but I suspect we will not see much, if any, Russell Wilson, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, or Kirk Cousins. So you're going to want to look to the backup quarterbacks.
Speaking of football, got a little bit of a plug here. You guys have heard me mention this before, but if you haven't, you need to head to the Twitter account for Awesemo_com. We're doing a bit of a giveaway. It ends tomorrow night at midnight. You need to be following the Awesemo_com Twitter handle. You need to be following the Awesemo NFL Twitter handle. We have a tweet that's pinned. Check that out. We need your player that stands out the most from Alex's season-long rankings and projections, which we have now. Season-long rankings and projections from the boss man. Do you think somebody is ranked too high, too low? If you've got if you've got someone that you think is going to be the nuts this year that is getting underrepresented, all you have to do is reply to that tweet with your answer. Retweet, like, and reply. Follow both accounts. You can win 1 month of Awesemo Plus. We're picking 10 random winners on Tuesday, I guess it is? Yeah, on Tuesday. And if you happen to win and you are an Awesemo Plus member, you can potentially win a 30-minute coaching session from the boss man himself. That is invaluable if you have the ability to pick his brain for 30 minutes. It's helped me tremendously over the past year and a half or however long I've been here now. And this takes no work out of you whatsoever. It doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is like and retweet things on Twitter. I'm sure you do that anyway. And you could potentially win a 30-minute coaching session if you're already a member. So check that out. Check out the pinned tweet. All the details are in it. Anything crazy coming up in your crunches?
No, because I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with pitching. So, all right. So Flaherty, I'm going 20%. Pannone, I'm going to go set him at 20. Boyd, I want to be more than the field, so I'm going to set him at 35. Wheeler, I'm just going to go at 35. Richards, who, by the way, pitches for Tampa Bay, in case you didn't know.
He does indeed.
I'm going to leave him at 10. Max Fried, I'm going to put him at 20. So I'm going to double. Let's make him 25. We'll double what the field is. Clevenger, I'm going to leave him at 10. That's right where the field is. UC Kikuchi, I'm putting him at 5. That's half the field. Sabathia, I'm going to put at 5. Chase Anderson, we didn't mention him. Make a reverse splits. What did the Nationals do with their lineup? Where are they? The Nationals decided to go
3 lefties.
3 lefties. Okay, well, that's about all they have. And they kind of are forced to play those 3 because of injury. So, I was curious to see if they put in Asdrubal Cabrera or Brian Dozier. But they've got Dozier in there. Dozier and Gomes and Robles at the bottom. There's some discounted options there. I would not play Matt Adams against Anderson. Both these teams played into the wee hours last night, so it'll be interesting to see if they care today or not.
Let's hope that they do not, considering I'll be under the field on them. So, I hope Christian Yelich doesn't care. I hope Mike Moustakas cares less than most. I hope Trent Grisham doesn't go yard as chalk again. All those things would be great.
Yeah, I did not have very much Grisham last night.
I mean, you shouldn't. In theory.
Runaway jury? The client?
What?
Pelican brief?
No. You lost me.
Grisham! John Grisham, the author. Oh, that's right. You didn't have paper, so you don't know about these things.
The odd. Do I seem like I read? Actually, I mean, obviously I'm familiar. It wasn't landing for me.
All right, I'm hitting crunch. I've got moved Boyd and Wheeler up to 40% each.
Okay.
And I'm gonna goose Wheeler just a touch to get him relatively.
Would you rather get more Wheeler or more Boyd?
I'd rather get more Wheeler.
Okay.
You know what? I really don't care.
I think that's probably the more accurate answer, just in general. I have 33% of one and 30 of the other. It's just kind of like, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. I'm just gonna set Wheelers. I'm moving them so they'll be about even in their point per dollar. So it'll just come through that way. All right, let's hit crunch now.
I'm trying to think. Do I have anything interesting in my data that I want to quiz you on? Okay. There are 2 teams across FanDuel and DraftKings where I don't have a primary stack of that team. I don't have a 4-man on FanDuel. I don't have a 5-man or a 4-man on DraftKings. Can you name those teams?
It's the Mariners.
It is not the Mariners.
You hate Atlanta, so Atlanta.
It is not Atlanta.
Really?
Not that I have a ton, but
Kansas City doesn't have enough players to make a 5-man or a 4-man stack.
Kansas City is one of them.
Okay. And then
This should be pretty easy.
Tampa.
I have 1 5-man stack of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Detroit.
I have 3 4-mans on FanDuel. The answer is the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Flaherty.
Huh. All right. Boston is going to be my number 1
Okay.
by far. Coming in, even running 4-4s, I'm still getting 40% JD Martinez and bets. And Chris Owings, come on down. Why are we getting Chris Owings? Oh, because he's 2,200. There you go. Over under of Chris Owings getting on base, I will include fielder's choice.
Is the line half?
What? 1 in 3 chance. 1 in 5.
I'll assume.
Yeah, we'll give him one base appearance. No matter he reaches, no matter what error. However, it's gonna be 1. Are
I'll
you
take
taking
the over, but I'm not happy about it.
All right. Here's the true tale of the tape. My pitchers came in. Boyd capped at 40. Wheeler capped at 40. Max Fried capped at 25. Flaherty capped at 25. Pannone capped at 20. And then a few guys coming in at 5. He had 5% UC Kikuchi. There we go.
It is. Get him.
There it is.
I have 2%.
8% Jason Vargas. 3% Nate Eovaldi. Why is that happening? Because it's Baltimore. If he can go, you know what? I'm going to let it ride. Why not?
Feeling good. We still have 10 minutes, so if you guys want to get your questions in, we've got plenty of time to answer them.
Feeling froggy, as someone used to say a lot, but doesn't say anymore.
Oh, man. Who is the stack that is most likely to die tonight between the Pods, the Red Sox, and the Brewers? Is that just also still the Brewers for you?
No, because the Nationals bullpen is garbage.
I wouldn't be
San Diego.
Yeah, I feel like any time that I'm happy to face Jason Vargas just goes poorly.
Jason perfectly average Vargas, as I pointed out a few minutes ago. Not spectacular, not bad, average.
I hate that dude so much. I just want him to retire so I can find a new pitcher to rag on every 6 days. I need John Means to take that over. Are you getting to any Phillies against Lucchesi? That's a name that we haven't said at all today.
I have 4 Phillies 5-man stacks.
Okay.
So 2% would be the answer. I have 3% Washington 5-mans. It's not very much. I've got, it's all going to Boston and Toronto.
I have a little bit of Toronto. I have more Phillies than I would have expected on FanDuel. Not super upset about that, I guess. Mostly just Hoskins, Segura, and Harper, and as far as guys go, those 3 are not a huge problem for me. I don't mind ever getting Rhys Hoskins. He's 3,900 on DraftKings. A silly price.
That really is. Thank you for pointing that out. If you're playing cash, he's very appealing.
Yeah, hard to get away from, that's for sure. Let's see, are we getting any questions into Slack? Any interest in Tampa Bay against Boyd?
No.
Yeah, they are my third team from the bottom. I basically don't. I have one 5-man stack, one 3-man stack. I literally don't have a Tampa share on FanDuel. So, I mean, look, Boyd has been kind of not awesome in his last 2 starts. I assume that is just a blip and not something that I should expect to continue to happen. But yeah, I can't go to Tampa today. Did you get any Yankees? They are basically unowned today as far as Yankees go, and I don't have them.
No, I am looking. I literally don't know that I have any. That can't be possible.
I have 2 2-mans on FanDuel, a single one-off. On DK, I have 1 5-man stack and 4 individual one-offs. That's it. No, not a big Yankees day today.
I've got 1% CC Sabathia. I literally have no Yankees. 0. Wow.
Feels weird, right?
It does.
I can't wrap my head around it.
You know what? So be it.
Boyd has given up 7 home runs in his last 2 starts. Scary. Yep. I will change nothing about what I'm doing because of that information.
His massive strikeout rate is what we should be paying attention to.
Going down 30% from both sides.
Who is your most owned player?
Manny Machado.
How much?
Adding them both together, 73%. It's 27 on FanDuel and 47 on DraftKings.
Wow, 35 for me. Mookie Betts, 68%.
Lindor is second. Hunter Renfroe, home run pick, coming in third. And then it's Reyes and Puig, the 2 new Indians boys.
All right, let me get back.
Let's see, who am I most under the field on? Ty France. See, that feels super correct to me. Of all the people that I can have today to be the guy that I am most under the field on, Ty France and Trent Grisham feel like the right 2 names. So I feel like I'm playing that perfectly. Light on Moustakas, Yelich, Carpenter, Goldschmidt, Teoscar. Need to avoid that Brewers game. Most over the field on Lindor, Puig, Reyes, Fried, Machado, Margot, Santana. I'm happy about it. I'm not going to lie. Feeling good today.
All right, now it's panic time. Now I got to put my file together. I do want to say thank you to both you and Alex. I had that duplicate lineup issue last night on air with just a few minutes before uploading my file, and I was able to use the trick of remove duplicates to save my whole file.
Bingo. Gotta
Very
love
helpful.
it. Gotta love it. Bogarts or Bichette? That's a question in chat right now.
Bichette, since he was my home run guy.
Yeah.
And because he's good. And because he's leading off. And because UC Kikuchi has allowed the 2nd most home runs in the league.
I'll take Bogarts, but I mean, that is not an indictment on Bichette in this spot. I like Bogarts. See what else we got coming in. Mercado or Toronto bats for outfielders from the same price range? I mean, Toronto. It's Mercado for me. I have a bunch, but I am also higher on the Indians than anybody else today, so
I'd still go Toronto. Oh. I don't think it's a problem. I think Mercado was 4,000 batting second, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
4,000, yeah.
I have 20% Mercado on FanDuel, 14 on DK. We are 4 minutes from lock, everybody. So if you don't have your lineups in yet, what are you waiting for? Get your stuff in. Otherwise, you don't have it done.
I don't have it done. Now we're
You
into
gotta hustle. You gotta hustle. Any love for the Mets? I have quite a bit. I am slightly above the field.
Who's going for KC today?
Sparky.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of sad that they're missing a couple of their guys, but I don't dislike them.
Okay.
All right.
Dave just said, "Don't yell at me," but I just realized OF stands for outfielder and not offense. You probably should have kept that one to yourself, Dave.
That's like worse than saying Trevor Richards plays for a former Florida team.
Teoscar or Trent Grisham, FanDuel cash? Now that's a good question. I assume it's Grisham, but let me look at it.
I would say Teoscar.
So they are. Grisham is $100 more expensive. I have Grisham with a higher projection. He's projected for higher ownership, and he is hitting higher in the order. So for me, I would take Trent Grisham in cash. Yeah. Both are fine.
And I'm loaded. There we go.
Somebody said Puig, anyone? Very much me. I have staggering amounts of Yasiel Puig today, so there's that. We have 2 minutes to go. Actually, 1 minute and 45 seconds. So get your stuff in.
All right, here's the moment of truth. I have my pitching, everybody capped out. So 40 Boyd, 40 Wheeler, 25 Flaherty, 25 Freed, 20 Pannone, 10 Clevenger, 10 Richards, 10 Wilmer Font, and I'm okay with it.
Ooh, okay.
5 Fetty, 5 UC Kikuchi, 3 Chase Anderson, 3 Jason Vargas, 1 Eovaldi, and 1 Sabathia. Okay. Mookie Betts, final tally, 71%.
Woo!
That's Mike Trout-like for me. Machado is 36. Of course, he's multi-position eligible. Ty France must be his price, but he's coming in at 23%. Let's see. Chris Owings. I'm embarrassed. Hines 57 treatment for Chris Owings.
Oh, yeah?
Ouch! 57%.
You're probably going to be getting all of the money.
Reese Hoskins, 30%. And catcher is a grab bag. Hedges, Murphy, Perez, Yadier, Yan, JT Real Muto, all between 9 and 11. $30 to
Wheeler, 33 to Boyd, 37 Flaherty, 39 Freed, 17 Richards, 19 Pannone.
I almost want to say that one of the Molina brothers was on one of my fantasy teams back when we were doing stuff from the newspaper. Would that be possible?
I don't know. Did the grandfather play?
Well, there's the Benji. I forget who the other one was. Benji, Adier.
I don't remember any of them. But we are locked. We are locked.
Oh, Jose Molina. There we go.
I don't remember any of these people. You want to hit me with some whatever the late slate is? Thoughts?
Thoughts are, yeah. So we have 2. We have the turbo slate, which is the 3:00 games. You've got Martin Perez, Lance Lynn, Jordan Yamamoto, and Peter Lambert. So, yeah, it looks like Perez and Lynn are the 2 that you want. And then actually, you know what? Let me drop the old Spotlight hitters article because I broke down that particular game or those particular games.
Yeah,
so let's give everybody a freebie on that one. But there are my thoughts right there. And then for the actual slate, which would be it's a 3-gamer. I think you want to look towards going against Merrill Kelly. He's allowed 24 home runs. That is the 11th most in the league. However, there's a bunch of people tied at 25, so it's like 25th overall. But 16 have been to righties. He has the only downside is not that many righties for the Giants, and Longoria and Buster Posey aren't exactly daunting. I think Kevin Pillar's a righty, so he should be in there. Those would be the guys I'd look to on that one. For pitching on that late slate, let me set the filter over there. Greinke going against Oakland is going to be intriguing. Griffin Canning going against the White Sox is intriguing. And then Madsen Bumgarner is the other guy. He's going against Arizona. Those would be the three I would look to. Brett Anderson, tough ask for him to go against Houston. He will strike out approximately 3 of them today, and he will give up 4 runs, is my guess, 2 home runs.
Okay.
So you're doing home run hunting is my point there.
There you go.
Astros will probably be the most popular stack. I would prefer to go with San Francisco.
There we go. Anything else?
Free preseason content. I'm working on best ball draft, so I will be holding office hours at 3:00 today. I didn't last weekend since I was traveling, but let's talk some best ball. I'm working on a little article for that, and I'm reflecting upon what I have done with my mixture of players. It's been rather interesting. I have 1 or 2 out of my 100 and whatever lineups I've been drafting for the last month of Todd Gurley. That's it. I will not be drafting him going forward.
There you go. I don't know anything about it.
He has a sore knee, but he ran 21 miles an hour. Neither here nor there.
I don't know what any of that means. Is that fast?
That would be Usain Bolt is probably like 27, maybe. I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's hard to tell, but that would be faster than me. So
yes, it's faster than me as well. There's probably not a time in my life where I've ever been faster than Todd Gurley. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, do all of the good stuff that helps us out. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. This is it for today. Early Bird will be up tonight, and then we're back to the normal schedule starting tomorrow morning.
Normal as long as you're not getting married this week.
Correct. Normal as long as you're not Laffy. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Best of luck today. I'm going to go sweat some baseball, and I'll talk to you guys later. Adios.